So I was riding my bike. I was going for a walking the bike, and then I came across this bus stop advertisement. It didn't make any sense to me because at the top it says, "Life has taught him things no classroom could." And if you step back, there's no website or company name or any indicator of what the fuck this is. And strangely enough, if you look at the top, it looks like the ad fell. Like there's a space up top here, like it fell down a foot, and maybe it's down there. The bottom part of the ad fell behind the screen, and maybe I would find out a website or a company name or whatever the hell this shit is. But I just found the the title of the ad so weird. Life has taught him things no classroom could. It's pretty ironic because we're literally like right across the street from some local school. So I really have no clue what the fuck this is, but how else do you interpret this other than some kind of ad that's trying to make the point that classroom has certain limitations or shortcomings, school has certain limitations or shortcomings in terms of preparing you for life. I'm not really sure what else the point of this is. I don't know if this is an alternative school that's more interactive. I don't know what the ad is for this thing. But it's pretty freaking weird. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna stop the camera real quick. It's my cell phone camera. I'm gonna Google that phrase and see if it comes up, see what I find. Give me a second. Alright, so I Googled it, and it turns out that this bus stop advertisement is by the Ads Council, and it's for an organization called Grads of Life. Grads as in Grads, graduates, gradsoflife.org. And life has taught him things no classroom could. And basically, it talks about how in an age of rampant unemployment, a lot of employers are having trouble finding good, talented, skillful, committed, innovative, stand outside the box type workers. Well, the problem is that a lot of these employers are going to the traditional means of finding new workers, which is, do they have a high school diploma? Do they have a high GPA? Do they have the good grades? Do they have a degree, etc.? But the problem is that going through those traditional routes aren't working as well as they used to. I would argue they're not working that well because you don't really got to be that smart to get a degree. The problem is that in our modern society, we associate intelligence with mindlessly regurgitating useless shit we're never going to use, which is, of course, the antithesis of intelligence. That is robotic mindlessness. A robot can literally do that. A more accurate definition of intelligence is the ability to think outside the box, to think for yourself, to think originally, to trust yourself, trust your intuition, question authority, question current dogmas, think originally. And the thing is that if you graduate from most colleges and schools, you didn't really get graded on your ability to think originally or any of the things that really make innovative, valuable workers. What you did was robotic, mindless obedience to authority, which doesn't make you special at all. So that on its own is a huge aspect, and the fact that this thing is here, to me, is a really good indicator. It's a really good sign of how times are changing. Because if you're seeing fucking bus stop advertisements telling you that a student who didn't go through the school system may have more value than one who did go through the school system, you know things are changing and you know things are desperate. And it's all a sign of the times. You know, this is actually great news. People might be like, well, what the hell? How are we going to... If I don't have to go through school, how am I going to do anything? People don't even know how to, do anything without having a diploma handed to them and then submitting it to somebody and hoping you get hired. People are that crippled. People are that handicapped by the conveyor belt of school. Here's the thing. If it turns out that the school system, the school machine of death is actually mostly a fraud and that it's not necessary, that means that you can be free again. That means that all those miserable years you spent in school thinking to yourself, man, I fucking hate this place. What's the point of this homework? What's the point of the grades? What's the point of the test? I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. It turns out that that intuitive voice was onto something. It was right. And that you could actually go and follow your passions, follow the things you enjoy in life. Really what this quote is saying, life has taught him things no classroom could. What the quote is really saying is that this person is alive. He's not a dead robot. He's alive, he's engaged in life, okay? You know when they say when you graduate from school, you enter the real world. They always say that. When you graduate from school, are you going to be ready for the real world? The reason they call it that is because school is almost like a petri dish, a fake plastic reality that isn't the real world. And then when you graduate, they call it the real world because that's where the real shit happens. That's where you really got to think, really got to compete. And there's an interesting phenomenon. This is something I discuss in further detail in my new book, Success Without School, Think Outside the Classroom. What I talk about is the good student, bad worker phenomenon. This is a well-documented occurrence where what made you a good student, i.e. following orders, doing what you're told, and regurgitating a bunch of useless shit you'll probably never use that have no interest in, those qualities that you cultivated in school will not help you in the workplace, because in the workplace, the real world where things are much more competitive and edgy and fast-paced, you're not rewarded on whether or not you shut up and obey orders and do unoriginal regurgitation. You're actually rewarded on standing up, standing out, questioning authority, putting yourself on the line, putting your own original ideas forward and seeing what happens, testing things, trial and error. You know, when you're in school, you're not putting your own original ideas forward. You are regurgitating somebody else's past discoveries and hoping you'll get a good grade for it. That's not intelligence. That's not intelligence. That's regurgitation. Jeopardy. The game show Jeopardy. We used to associate, if you win Jeopardy, you're smart. If you can memorize and regurgitate a bunch of facts, you're smart. And yet even Jeopardy had a machine, a robot. I think it was called Winston. I could be wrong. I forget the name of the robot that was used in Jeopardy. They had an artificial intelligence robot compete against the top 2 Jeopardy players in the world, and the robot spanked and raped them and won the fucking tournament. So this idea that intelligence is mindless and repetitive regurgitation of mostly useless facts you have no interest in and will probably never use, that's a bunch of bullshit. And a more accurate description of it is the ability to think originally, to think for yourself, because even literally robots now replace human beings, okay? In fact, I did a video on this. You'll probably find it pretty interesting. You click right here. It's like a parody of Jeopardy. In a world where you can pull out your cell phone and Google any factoid in half a second, what is the value of stuffing your head with factoids, which is essentially what a school diploma and degree is? The value is almost totally wiped out in an age where in your smartphone you can Google anything, get millions of search results on Google in a fraction of a second. Times are changing, guys. If you guys are interested in my book, it's actually available for pre-order now. The book will be out in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Success Without School, Think Outside the Classroom. The link to that book is below. Anyways, I found this fascinating. Life has taught him things no classroom could. And when the Ads Council, the public, I think Ads Council gets funds publicly. I could be wrong about that. But when public funds are being used to promote the idea that there are smart people who don't have to go through the school system, you know shit's changing, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to be a beautiful world. It's not going to be a scary world. People are afraid, who's going to hold my hand through school? I've been trained to be a little, order-following child my whole life. What am I going to do? You know what? You get to be free finally. You see that sunset right there? You see that chain link fence? There's even like school kids who are behind that fence. It means you get to be free. it means you get to be free. You don't have to stay within the confines of the school system. You don't have to stay. You can step outside, step into nature, look at the sun, think originally, and try new things, all of which were discouraged in the mainstream school system. Check out the link below, guys. Thanks a lot.
Success Without School. Think outside the classroom. My new book shatters the matrix of the school system, exposing the brainwashing done to you and illuminating the path to success. From the truth about intelligence to surviving in a fast-paced, unprecedented economic era, this book is my full crystallization, breaking the chains on your mind and opening you to what's possible when you think outside the classroom.